Morning,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. See, yesterday we went for the new module, a new chapter, that is steam turbines. And then I given the introduction of the steam turbine. What will happen behind the steam turbine? That means how the steam is generated, with the help of what part, what all the different types of boilers are there. All those things we did yesterday, correct? So today I will proceed further, and I'll go for the classification of the steam turbine. Yesterday we did the classification of the boilers. Today we'll go for classification of the steam turbine, and then few how it is going to work, and what are all the different parts, and then a small derivation. So this we are going to cover today. Okay, I'll start projecting now. Can you all see?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yesterday we did this, and these are all the specification of the months, how the boilers are classified. This is about water tube boiler, working of the water tube boiler, fire tube boilers. So the difference between boiler, fire tube, and water tube boiler. This is how the boiler parameters or specification of the boiler is explained. This is earlier boilers, what they are considered, the steam turbines. Here, now I'm going to explain about the classification of steam turbines. This is about classification of the steam turbine. Okay. System. How the steam turbines are classified? There are so many headings under that. The first very important thing is based on the action of the steam or type of the expansion. Type of the expansion means that means how the steam is going to expand on the blades of the turbine. So based on that, it is going to classify. The first one is impulse. What do you mean by impulse? Impulse means what? What the word tells here?
Very large force acts
Huh?
for a short duration of time. Very large force acting on a very short duration of time.
Yeah, means higher velocity, high jet steam is going to strike the blades. It is going to impulse. It is going to strike the blades with a high velocity. So it is called as impulse turbine or high velocity turbine, or it is also called as D-level turbine. Yesterday we did know D-level was one of the person who found out the turbine, the very first person who found out the turbine. So he determined the impulse turbine. So that is a one classification. The second is the reaction turbine, or it is also called as it is a pressure based. First one is velocity based, second one is pressure based, and the name of the person who determined is Parson. So then he himself has given his own name, that is Parson turbine. The first based on the action, impulse turbine. Example of the impulse turbine is D-level turbine, and the second one is the reaction turbine. Example for the reaction turbine is Parsons turbine, and the third one is combination of the turbine, combination of impulse and reaction turbine. So under the heading of action of the steam, these three are the type of turbines we are classifying. Next heading, based on the number of stages. This is simple, you can write by yourself. Single stage and multi-stage turbine. If we are having a turbine blades only one stage, then we are going to call it as a single stage. Similarly, it may be more than one, that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, depending upon the velocity or pressure of the steam which is available at the inlet. If it is very, very high, if the pressure and velocity is very high, then we'll go for n number of stages. If it is less, we'll go for 2. If it is still less, we'll go for single stage. So based on the available pressure and velocity at the inlet of the turbine, we are going to take this multi-stage or single stage turbine. Then based on the type of the steam flow, how the steam is going to flow, it can flow axially, it can flow radially. That means if I see the steam flow If the steam flow is parallel to the axis of the turbine, axis of the shaft of the turbine, we are going to call it as axial flow turbine. If it is radial direction, then we are going to call radial direction to the axis of the turbine, then we are going to name it as radial flow turbine. One more it is that that is called as mixed flow turbine. Axial flow, radial flow, and mixed flow. This is a major types of classification of steam turbines. See, one more broader way I can write by using a tree here. Steam turbine is going to classify based on the direction, axial, radial, way of the energy conversion and type of the blading, impulse and reaction, type of compounding, pressure compounding, velocity compounding, pressure velocity compounding. See, in this chapter, definitely out of these three, velocity compounding, pressure compounding, or pressure velocity compounding, any one he is going to ask you to draw with the figure, and you have to explain that. This is all this compounding, three types of compounding you already done in first year, right? So anyone, definitely they'll ask, okay? That based on sir. Based on exhausting condition, that is condensation, extraction, back pressure, reheat, based on the number of stages, single stage and multi-stage, based on inlet pressure, low, medium, and high pressure. So based on this inlet pressure, if it is low, we'll go for single stage. If it is medium, also we'll go for single stage. If the inlet pressure of the steam is very, very high, we'll not restrict ourselves for the single stage. We'll go for multi-stage turbines. Okay. So based on this only, the single stage or multi-stage depends. So like this, we can also draw the chart and you can remember. This is easy to remember. And earlier what I shown, this one you have to read out 2 to 3 times. But here, if I see this chart, it will be easy for remembering, and you can put the same thing in the form of sentence in the examination. Okay, always graphical representation is easy for remembering. So I have included this figure. But you should not write this way in exam. You should, if they ask you to classify the steam turbine, you're supposed to write in the form of this sentence only. Under the action of the steam, first one, second, third. This is only for your understanding, better understanding, and you can easily remember if this is the way. So I posted like this. Done. What is the difference between impulse and reaction turbine? This is already you have done, and you have written the exam also of EME. The same question was there in EME. Do you remember? Difference between impulse and reaction turbine. Anyone remember?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you tell at least a few points in that? At least if you can see the slides and you can understand something, if you tell, then it will be easy for me to proceed further. See, in the impulse turbine, complete expansion. What do you mean by this expansion? Can you tell? What do you mean by the expansion? Okay. In the impulse turbine, the complete expansion of the steam takes place in the nozzle. That means whatever the energy is there of the steam, that is completely converted into other form with the help of nozzle only. That means behind the nozzle, there will be a high pressure. The steam will be under a very, very high pressure. That high pressure steam, we are going to convert that to kinetic. We are going to convert that to velocity. High velocity. With the help of what we are converting? We are converting that high pressure to high velocity with the help of this nozzle. Once the high velocity steam, high pressure steam is converted to high velocity, then what will happen? It will go and hit the buckets with a very, very high kinetic energy, correct? Hence, the steam is ejected with a very high kinetic energy. Understood here? The complete expansion of the steam takes place only in the nozzle, and hence the steam is ejected with a very high kinetic energy and it is going to strike the blades. But here what will happen in the reaction turbine? Partial expansion of the steam takes place in the fixed blades, acts as a nozzle. Here there is no concept of nozzle. Here there is in the reaction turbine there is a concept of fixed blades. Remember, in the reaction turbine there is no concept of a nozzle. There will be a concept of fixed blades. Here, there is a concept of nozzle. What is the function of nozzle? The function of a nozzle is to convert the pressure energy into kinetic energy. Here, the function of a fixed blade is to partially convert the pressure energy. Okay? And further expansion takes place in rotor blades. Here expansion takes place only in nozzle. Here expansion takes place both in fixed blade as well as rotor blades. You underline these two. These two are very, very important. Just I'll highlight that. Expansion takes place both in fixed and the rotor blades, but here the expansion takes place only in the nozzle. So this is a technical key term under the heading of impulse and reaction term. Very, very important term. Next, here the blades are symmetrical in shape. What do you mean by symmetrical? If I cut the blade exactly into two parts, both the parts it will look like the same. So that is the meaning of symmetrical. Here the blades are symmetrical in shape. Here the blades are aerofoil in section. Here the blades are non-symmetrical and it is also called as aerofoil section. Under the reaction turbine, the blades are non-symmetrical and it is in the shape of aerofoil. Here they are symmetrical. Then the pressure remains constant between the end and end of the moving blade. Hence the relative velocity remains constant. VR1 is equal to VR2. This one is a technical term. I'll explain while deriving the problem. While deriving the derivation or while going for the problem, I'll do this. Okay. This one, no need to worry about this much. Just you remember, VR1 is equal to VR2 in this. Here, VR2 is greater than VR1. Remember this part. VR2, pressure drops from the inlet of the outlet of the moving blade. Hence, the relative velocity increases from inlet to outlet. That is, VR2 is greater than VR1. Just to remember this here. And this VR1 is equal to VR2 in impulse turbine. So, in impulse turbine, nozzle is the main part where the complete pressure energy is converted to kinetic energy and the blades are symmetrical and VR1 is equal to VR2. Here, there is a involvement of the fixed blade and the expansion of the steam takes place partially in the fixed blade, partially in the rotor blade, and the blades are non-symmetrical and the name of non-symmetrical blades are aerofoil section, and here the value of VR2 is greater than VR1. Just to remember these two values. Next. Again, further, we'll move further for the classification. The steam velocity at the inlet of the machine is very, very high, hence need compounding. So this is very important word. The steam velocity is very, very high, so that, as I told earlier, when we'll go for the multi-staging, if the inlet energy of the steam is huge or a tremendous amount of energy will be there for the steam at the inlet. So if that is the case, I cannot extract the entire energy of the steam in one stage. So that we will go for multi-stage. That multi-stage naming, other name for the multi-stage is called as compounding. Other name for the multi-staging is called as compounding. Hence the steam velocity at the inlet of the machine or inlet of the turbine is very, very high. Hence it requires a compounding. Here what will happen? Here also the energy of the steam will be very high. But what will happen is here. The steam velocity at the inlet of the machine is moderate or low, hence does not need a compounding. That means what? The steam velocity before entering it will be very high, but partially it will be reduced in the nozzle and partially it will be reduced in the more rotating blades. So because of the two times of reduction, in only one stage I can achieve the complete extraction of the energy. But here I cannot do that. So compounding is mandatory in impulse turbine. Remember, in impulse turbine, compounding is mandatory, but in reaction turbine, it is not mandatory because the energy is extracted partially in the fixed blade and partially in the rotating blade. Then here where the energy is extracted in impulse turbine, energy of the steam is extracted only with the help of, energy is converted into other form only with the help of nozzle. But here with a fixed blade as well as rotating blade. Next here, the blade efficiency is comparatively low. The blade efficiency is very, very high. Blade efficiency is low here and blade efficiency is high. If we derive that, you will come to know, you will only know why the blade efficiency is less here and why it is greater here. Then, few number of stages required for a given pressure drop or power output, hence machine is compact. More number of stages required for a given pressure drop or a power output, hence the machine is the bulky. As compared to the impulse turbine, reaction turbine machine is bulky. Used for small power generation, used for medium and large power generation. Suitable where the efficiency is not matter of a fact. Suitable for efficient where the efficiency is a matter of fact. Means if I want to achieve a higher, greater efficiency, we'll go for reaction turbine. If the efficiency is not important for us, we'll go for impulse turbine. Okay. Any doubts under the classification? Any doubts under the classification?
No, sir.
Okay. The example for the impulse turbine are, you make a note. Example for the impulse turbine are, examples of the impulse turbine are D-level turbine, comma, D-level turbine, comma, Curtis turbine, C-U-R-T-I-S, Curtis turbine. D-level and Curtis is the example of impulse turbine. That means D-level means both are similar. See, D-level and Curtis turbine, both working principle are same. But if there is only single nozzle and single rotor blades, then it is called as D-level. If there are multi-stage, then we'll go for Curtis. We are going to name it as Curtis turbine. So both are working on the principle of impulse only. So Curtis and D-level turbine comes under the heading of impulse, and Parsons reaction turbine comes under the heading of this reaction principle. Parsons reaction turbine will comes under the principle of this reaction turbine. Okay. Next heading is, what do you mean by the compounding? Need of compounding for the steam turbine. Can anyone tell what do you mean by compounding?
Multi-stage
Compounding is nothing but
expansion.
increasing the number of stage. Very simple is, very simple word. What she told is correct. It is nothing but increasing the number of stage. That is the meaning of compounding. Why we need the compounding? What is the need of, what is the purpose of doing compounding?
To
What is the
extract
purpose?
maximum energy from
Very good.
steam at high
Yes.
pressure.
Assume that if the inlet steam is having very high energy, that means in terms of high pressure or high velocity, if I want to extract that energy completely for the rotation of the blades, then compounding is required. If it is a single stage, I cannot extract the energy of the steam completely. So in that case, we'll go for multi-stage turbines. That multi-stage turbines is nothing but a compounding. So if I increase the number of stages, the steam velocity which is exiting from the turbine will be having very less. That means the energy of the steam which is exit, which is going out of the turbine, will be less if I increase the number of compounding. That is what we require. Inlet velocity and pressure should be greater, and exit velocity and pressure should be less. That is what we are expecting in the turbine to get a more efficiency. So if I want to achieve that, I want to increase the number of stages rather than taking the energy of the steam in one stage. That is the need of compounding. So in another way, you can write in this way. And if you want to represent an exam, you can represent in this way. If the steam pressure drops from the boiler pressure to condenser pressure, this condenser pressure means after the turbine. What is the pressure we are getting after working, after ejecting on the turbine? The steam will come out. No, that steam pressure is called as condenser pressure. This boiler pressure means the pressure which we are giving for the steam. For the pressure which we are giving for the turbine inlet is called as boiler pressure, which is very high. And condenser pressure will be very less pressure at the exit of the turbine. The difference between these two should be very great. Means there should be a greater difference between the boiler pressure and the condenser pressure. Then only efficiency will be tough. Efficiency of the turbine will be more. Read out this. If the steam pressure drops from the boiler pressure to the condenser pressure in a single stage, the exit velocity of the steam from the nozzle will become very high, and the turbine speed will be in order of 30,000 RPM or more. As the turbine speed is proportional to the steam velocity, the carryover losses or leaving losses will become more than 10 to 12%. Due to this very high speed, the centrifugal stresses are developed on the turbine and its blades, resulting in blade failure. In order to overcome all these difficulties, it is necessary to reduce the speed of the turbine by any one method of compounding. So the compounding is the method of reducing the blade speed for a given overall pressure drop. So this is all, this entire points you can write if it is asked what is the need of compounding. So that need of compounding is to reduce the speed of the turbine and to reduce the loss, or it is also called as carryover loss, and also to increase the number of staging, and also to reduce the blade failure. So these are all the need for the compounding. Why the compounding is required? Because of these points. Next. Reduce the carryover losses. Speed to reduce the centrifugal stresses, increase the blade, to reduce the blade failure. Overall pressure drop. All these points are important in this. Next. So how many methods of compoundings are there? Methods of compounding. Hello? Methods of compounding. There are three methods of compounding. One is velocity compounding, pressure compounding, and combination of those two. Pressure, velocity, compounding. Velocity compounding, pressure compounding, pressure, velocity compounding. See, out of these three, one question is 100% in exam. Out of these three compounding, definitely they'll ask, what do you mean by compounding? What is the need of compounding? And with the need figure, explain any one compounding, they'll ask. So this need of compounding is important. Velocity compounding, pressure compounding, or pressure velocity compounding. So any one figure they'll ask in exam. Make a note of this. Yeah. Okay. Coming to the velocity compounding. This velocity compounding means, here, assume that there is a nozzle here, and there is a moving blade, a fixed blade, and moving blade. And this blade, in between here, there is a shaft. Here, there is a shaft. Let us assume there is a shaft here, and over the shaft, there is a blade, a moving blade. Above, next to that, there is a fixed blade. Next to that, there is a moving blade. This is the arrangement of turbine. There are two stages. That means there are two moving blades. So we are going to call it as two stages. Before the stage, there is a nozzle. The nozzle is kept. That means the steam will enter to the nozzle. What will be the condition of the steam once it is entering to the nozzle? That we can show here. I can represent here. See, the condition of the steam at the entry of the nozzle, the pressure of the steam is very, very high. So I have drawn in the y-axis, the pressure of the steam I have shown very high. And the velocity of the steam at the entry of the nozzle is low. So this is, let us take this as first point, and this as first point. Once the steam is passed through the nozzle, because of this convergent and divergent effect, what will happen? The pressure will drop drastically. Because of this drop in pressure, velocity of the steam increases, correct? That means once the steam is at this point, at the point 2, that means exit of the nozzle, if I check the pressure and velocity of the steam, pressure is lesser, very, very less, and the velocity will be at a higher level. That means what is the function of a nozzle? The function of a nozzle is to convert the pressure energy of the steam to the kinetic energy. That's what I can show here in the graphical method. So the pressure at the inlet of the nozzle is high. Once the steam passes through the nozzle, the pressure reduces and the velocity increases. Okay. So still we are in the nozzle stage. If I go for the moving blade, the pressure remains constant under the heading of velocity compounding. Pressure remains constant, but the velocity reduces. That's what the velocity name comes here. Velocity compounding. In the moving blades, the velocity reduces. And this reduction in the velocity is converted to rotation of the blades. Understood? The velocity, very high velocity, if I allow the high velocity to enter to the moving blades, the velocity drops. This drop in velocity will be extracted by rotating the blades, but the pressure remains same. So at the end of this first stage moving blade, the velocity will be up to this stage. Then again, the same blade will be, the same steam will be passed through the fixed blade. What is the function of the fixed blade? There is no rotation. Only it gives the direction for the steam. In the first chapter, we told, no? We had discussed that. The function of a fixed blade or a guide blade is just to direct the steam. So there is no work extracted. That means the blades are not rotating here. The blades are fixed so that there is no drop in velocity and neither drop in pressure. Again, the high velocity steam will enter to the second stage moving blade. Because of that, the velocity drops. This drop in velocity is converted to the rotating of the blades. This rotation velocity is extracted in the form of rotation of the blades, so that at the exit there will be a low velocity. What is the inlet of the blade? The velocity of the inlet of the blade is very high, and at the exit it is less. If I restrict to only first stage, see this fixed blade is not there, moving blade is also not there. Then what will happen? See, the velocity of the inlet of the blade is higher, and velocity at the exit, even though this is lesser compared to this, but still there is a huge amount of velocity if we are going to waste that. So if I increase the number of stage like this, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the velocity will go on reducing. That means the difference between this point and this point should be larger, so that I can get more efficiency. If I restrict to one stage, check out the difference here. If I draw the horizontal line here and horizontal line here, and if I measure the difference is less. So the energy is not extracted properly. But here, if I draw horizontal here and if I draw horizontal and measure the distance, the gap between these two, inlet velocity and exit velocity, is very, very high. So that means that energy is extracted properly. If I use one more stage, still it will reduce. Like that, you should draw the figure of blades, fixed blades and moving blade, nozzle, velocity and pressure. Drop in velocity and drop in pressure. So this is how the velocity compounding turbine works. And what is the example for the velocity compounding turbine for this type? D-level or Moray turbine. D-level turbine or Moray turbine are the two examples or two turbines for velocity compounding turbine. Coming to the pressure compounding. In the pressure compounding, see how the arrangement is made. Here there is a nozzle, moving blade, fixed blade, moving blade. But here what will happen? Nozzle, moving blade, again nozzle, again moving blade. What is the function of nozzle? Here I discussed. The velocity increases, pressure reduces. Same thing here also happening. See here. In the nozzle, velocity increases, pressure reduces. That is true in both the cases. In moving blade, what is happening? You check out in the moving blade, in this region, what is happening? The velocity is reducing, pressure is constant. Here also. In the moving blade, pressure is constant, velocity is reduced. Correct? Then again, the steam will enter to the nozzle. What is the function of nozzle? The function of nozzle is to increase the velocity. See, now the velocity is reduced, again it is increased, and the pressure is reduced. Again, in the moving blade, pressure remains constant, velocity reduces. Okay? Again, at the exit, we'll get low velocity and low pressure. So what is reducing stage by stage here? See, in the blue line, this blue line is reducing step by step. So this is called as pressure compounding. Here, what is reducing? This brown color line is reducing. That means the velocity is reducing once it is passing through the stage by stage. So it is called as velocity compounding, and this is called as pressure compounding. And the name of the turbine is Rétaux turbine. The name of the turbine is Rétaux turbine. The name of the turbine for velocity compounding is D-level or Moray turbine. Here it is called as Rétaux turbine. How it is arranged? Here the arrangement is nozzle, moving blade, fixed blade, moving blade. Here nozzle, moving blade, again nozzle, again moving blade. The function of nozzle is same in all the cases. Here also the function of nozzle is to increase the pressure, increase the velocity, reduce the pressure. You see here, increase the velocity, reduce the pressure. You see in this nozzle, increase the velocity, reduce the pressure. Function is same, but arrangement you check out. What is the function of pressure in the nozzle? Pressure reduces. Here also pressure is reducing. Here also it is reducing. In the moving blade, pressure remains constant. Here also pressure remains constant. Pressure remains constant. So application of nozzle and the working of the nozzle and moving blades are same in all the cases. But because of this kind of arrangement, we will get the pressure compounding. Because of this kind of arrangement, we will get velocity compounding. Next is pressure velocity compounding. This is nothing but a combination of two velocity compounded turbines. See, if I check out, if I block this from here, if I block this everything here, I will get the velocity compounded turbine. If I include a nozzle, again the velocity increases, pressure reduces. Again, one more set of velocity compounded turbine. So set of velocity compounded turbine. If I put next to one next to the other, then it will become a pressure velocity compounding turbine. See, pressure is also reduced, velocity is also reduced stage by stage. So it is called as pressure velocity compounding. And the name for this pressure velocity compounding is called as Curtis turbine. Name for the pressure velocity compounding is called as Curtis turbine. I'll repeat again. name for the velocity compounded turbine is D-level or Murray turbine. Here the arrangement is nozzle, moving blade, fixed blade, moving blade. What is reducing here? Velocity is reducing. In the pressure compounding, the name of the turbine is Retu turbine. What is reducing? Pressure is dropping down. And the arrangement is nozzle, moving blade, nozzle, again moving blade. At the exit, we are having a low pressure and low velocity. But at the inlet of the turbine, the velocity and pressure is high. But exit, it is less. This is what we are expected. And this condition is exit condition is called as condenser pressure or condenser condition, and inlet conditions are called as boiler conditions. Here also, inlet condition is called boiler condition. Exit condition is called as condenser condition or condenser pressure. In boiler pressure, condenser pressure. Yes. And here how it is arranged? Nozzle. It is nothing but two set of velocity compounding. You observe the velocity compounding turbine. Velocity is reduced, pressure is constant. Velocity is reduced, pressure is constant. This is one set. This is one set. If I divide this, this will become one set. Again, this will become the other set. Okay. Any doubts in compounding? Need of compounding? Hello?
No, sir.
Shall I proceed? See, out of these three, they will ask, definitely they will ask anyone to draw the compounding. Either you draw the pressure compounding velocity or pressure velocity compounding. They will ask, what do you mean by compounding? What are all the needs of compounding? And with a need figure, explain any one compounding. Or they may ask particularly to draw velocity compounding, pressure compounding, or pressure velocity compounding. So that you should draw the figure and you should express what is a function of a nozzle, what is a function of moving blade, fixed blade, and moving blade. What is the boiler pressure condition? What is the condenser pressure condition? Okay, all those things you have to explain neatly. I will post the notes later. Once the chapter is completed, I will post the notes, complete notes of the steam turbine. But here, as a PPT, I given only the figure and I have explained. You should learn how to explain if it is asked in exam. Okay. Observe here in the y-axis, we are having pressure and velocity. In the x-axis, we are having nozzle, moving blade, fixed blade, moving blade. That means the steam, how it is passing. Next, this figure, anyone remember where you saw this figure? Anyone remember where you saw this figure? No? I hope at least one or two students will tell the answer where you saw this figure. This figure I have taken from EME textbook only, because just to remind you that this concept, all these concepts you already gone through in the EME. I have taken from Gopal Krishna book, EME Gopal Krishna book. I have taken this figure. The same figure is there in the EME book also. Okay. This means impulse turbine, or other name for the impulse turbine is D-level turbine. It is a single stage turbine. Impulse turbine, other name for the turbine is D-level turbine, and other name is single stage turbine. See, there is only one nozzle, there is only one rotating blade. How the blades are, if I see in 3D figure, this is a 3D view. Nozzle at the center, shaft at the center, this is called nozzle, and these are all the blades. If I allow the steam to pass through the nozzle, high pressure steam will convert into velocity and it will strike on the blades. Because once the steam is striking on the blades, this blade starts rotating, correct? This turbine starts rotating and the power is generated. The same figure I have shown in 2D view. That means if I see this, only the front view of the figure. If I see the front view of this figure, it will look like this. Nozzle, this is this casing, and these are all the blades. This is called steam exhaust, or it is called as condenser steam. Here, high pressure steam is called as boiler steam, boiler pressure, and here exhaust steam or exhaust pressure is called as condenser pressure, and this is called nozzle. See, both the figures are same. Here, the same figure is shown in 3D view. Here, it is shown in two-dimensional representation. That is front view. Here only, wherever it is trimmed off. Now, see 1, 2, 3, 4 by 6. Those blades are shown here. Remaining casing, it is shown in this pink color. Behind that, there is a blades. Okay. This is 3D and this is 2D figure. The steam, high pressure steam enters the nozzle. The pressure is converted to high velocity. The high velocity stream strikes the blades. Because of the striking, the blade will start rotating. It will start coming down and it will rotate and the steam will get exhausted. Okay. This is the working principle of impulse turbine or D-level turbine or single stage turbine. In this type of turbine, the steam is initially expanded in the nozzle from high pressure to low pressure, or you can also write as high pressure to high velocity. Also, you can write because inlet of the steam is high pressure, exit of the nozzle will be having high velocity, or you can write in this way also high pressure to low pressure. The high velocity jet of the steam coming out from the nozzle is made to glide over the curved vanes called as blades. These are called as blades, or it is also called as vanes. These are all called as blades, or they are called as vanes. What is the shape of the blades in impulse turbine? Do you remember? Anyone?
Bucket shape.
Huh?
Bucket shape. Bucket.
No. Here, today I done, no? I'll show you. I'll show you. Here, today we went here. The blades are symmetrical in shape in the impulse turbine. Now I am doing the impulse turbine. No, the blades are symmetrical in shape in the impulse turbine. I'll show you. Here. See, if I say the blades here, it is in the form of U. If I exactly cut this, if I exactly cut at the center of the blades, the left portion of the blade and right portion of the blades will be symmetrical, right? The blades are symmetrical in the U shape. So in the impulse turbine, the blades are symmetrical. That we already done here today. The blades are symmetrical in impulse turbine. What is the example of impulse turbine? D-level turbine. That's what I am dealing here. See, impulse turbine, nothing but D-level turbine. It is called as single stage turbine, and the buckets are symmetrical. You can see this figure and you can observe here. The blades are symmetrical means if I exactly cut this blade exactly at the middle, at the center, left and right hand portion of the blades will be symmetrical with each other. Clear? See, tomorrow I'll go in detail. The next class, I will give the video of working principle of D-level turbine. You'll come to know, we'll have some idea how the turbine works, how the steam expands and all. Okay. So till today, what are the concepts we have covered? We have covered from here. Classification of the steam turbine, just I'll refresh. Based on the action, based on the number of stages, based on the type of the steam. Can you see the screen, no?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. These are all the three major classification. Under that, first is impulse, reaction, combination turbine. Under the impulse turbine, D-level. Under the reaction turbine, it is Parsons turbine. Under the combination, we can call it as Curtis turbine. That you saw now, just now you saw the compounding. Here, based on the number of stages, single stage, multi-stage, based on the type of the steam flow, axial flow, and radial flow. And this is the graphical representation, just too easy for you to remember. But this is not the way you should represent in exam. Next, the difference between impulse and reaction. Under the impulse, nozzle is present. Under the reaction turbine, there is no nozzle, but there is a fixed blade instead of nozzle. And here, expansion of the steam takes place completely in the nozzle. But here, expansion of the steam takes place partially in the fixed blade, partially in the rotating blade. When the blades are symmetrical, blades are non-symmetrical, or it is also called as aerofoil section. VR1 is equal to VR2 in the impulse turbine. Here, VR2 is greater than VR1. This term you remember. I'll explain while deriving. I'll show you what is the meaning of the VR1 and VR2. Then, the steam velocity at the inlet of the machine is very high, hence compounding is required. Here, compounding is not required. Blade efficiency is low, blade efficiency is higher. Few number of stages is required for obtaining the desired pressure drop. Here, more number of stages. Used for small power generation, used for medium and large power generation. Efficiency is not, this turbine is used one where the efficiency is not important for us. But here, efficiency, wherever the efficiency is important, we use this. And need of compounding. Whenever, if it is a single stage, because of the higher velocity of the steam at the inlet, the rotation of the blades or turbine may go up to rotation speed of 30,000 RPM, which is not desired because the centrifugal forces or centrifugal stresses may develop for the blade, and there may be a failure of the blades. Because of that, this much of speed is not desired. So compounding is required. First thing. And second thing, there is a carryover loss. What do you mean by the carryover losses? Exhaust velocity. If I measure the condition of the exhaust stream from the blade, still it will be consisting of an energy which is equal to 10 to 12%. So if we extract this, then efficiency of the turbine will more. If we leave this 10 to 12% without extracting, then efficiency of the turbine will reduce. So compounding is required. And here, in order to overcome the difficulties, it is necessary to reduce the turbine speed by method of compounding. Adopt any one method to reduce this compounding, or to reduce the speed of the turbine, or to increase the efficiency. And the overall pressure drop can be achieved, or can be reduced. And the method of compounding, there are three methods: velocity compounding, pressure compounding, and pressure velocity compounding. This pressure velocity compounding is nothing but combination of two velocity compounding. Just if you remember this velocity compounding, or if you thoroughly prepare for this velocity compounding, this is very, very simple, because it is an addition of that part. And here what is present? Nozzle, moving blade, fixed blade, again moving blade. Here the velocity is reduced. In this, nozzle, moving blade, okay, nozzle and moving blade, pressure is reduced. And the name of the velocity compounding turbine is D-level and Moray turbine. Name of the pressure compounding turbine is Ritu turbine. And name of the pressure velocity compounding is Curtis turbine. So with that, I introduce this one also, D-level turbine, but I will cover this in the next class. I will start from here in the next class. So today I limited our class to only classification, difference between impulse and reaction, and compounding. Because in exam, definitely they'll ask any one method of compounding. So I concentrated more on compounding for today's class. Okay. Okay. I'll stop sharing now. All of you go for the Google Classroom. There we will be having a quiz. Attend the quiz within 9:30. Those who are attending the quiz within 9:30, then only we will get an attendance. If you attend after 9:30, it is a waste. Just it will be recorded as an assignment marks, but not for attendance. Remember. (9:30) is the last time, my maximum time. Did you got?
No, sir.
Yes,
Just
sir.
refresh.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay, okay, fine. You can leave the class here.
Yeah, got it.
Complete the quiz, you can go for the other class. Satrik Rai, is there? Satrik Rai. Okay.